And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking the Long Beach Grand Prix that happened, at the time of recording yesterday in America, the good old US of A Indycar round number 2, albeit the third race in the calendar. But we're getting into our winners and losers. The thumbnail there, kind of a clue. I mean, Scott Dixon won. We'll be definitely speaking about him in a minute. But let's get to the winners and losers. And our one loser of the race. Yeah, this guy, Pato O'Ward. Oh, dear me. So the fourth lap featured contact between the Aaron McLaren teammates as Alexander Rossi running what ended up being a very unlucky 13th. He got rear-ended by, well, let's be fair, you don't hit your teammate. The one golden rule in all the racing, don't hit your teammate. Pato O'Ward didn't listen, and yeah, good-ump. Oops-a-daisy. Now, the contact sadly left Rossi with left rear tyre damage that led him having to go down pit road, swapping his soft rubber for primary tyres. And for both, I think for both McLarens, Aaron McLarens, it kind of really, it wasn't good for their race. And I don't think they were the starring McLarens either, in my opinion, because the winner, absolutely, the winner, one of the winners, he wasn't the winner of the race, but the winner in our hearts, Theo Pourchaire. Yes, the F2 champion, never touched an IndyCar, at least in the race. Did everything he can. Behind the scenes was absolutely a delight, apparently, and he finished 11th in his first IndyCar race. Bear in mind, hardly any testing. I mean, he really just had the practice sessions, qualifying, and then the race. And I think he did not put a foot wrong. And to be fair, he was very close to being the man of the race if it wasn't for this guy here. Yes, Scott Dixon. Miracle on miracles. I mean, what an absolutely barm-storing lap. Absolute, laps even towards the end of the race. How did he save the fuel? That's my phone, but how did he save the fuel? I don't know. I mean, people are going to be looking at, and it's been credited as potentially one of this guy's best ever races. But we'll get into that in a bit. Firstly, I really want to talk about this guy here. No, that's not Scott Dixon. We're talking about you later, Scott. No, this guy. I mean, what an absolutely legendary, I think, debut. All things considered. So the reigning F2 champion, he was called to substitute to drive for Aaron McLaren's number 6 Chevrolet in place of the injured David Malakas. I probably got that wrong. I'm terrible at pronunciations, but a patient approach for him in both practice sessions. He slowly built up his pace through every lap he turned. He qualified not particularly well, starting 22nd, but he had a very measured drive, progressed through the field to finish what was a really respectable 11th, taking honours as the biggest mover through the field. And he said, amazing experience, he said to motorsport.com. He went on saying, I'm super proud of the performance this weekend, coming here in Long Beach without knowing the car, the track and the team as well. First time with the team, it's an amazing performance. I learned so much during this race with all the pit stops, and also we had one safety car and I could overtake a lot of cars, and I enjoyed that. Yeah, and that's interesting we say that. We had one safety car, which I think highlights the fact, and that ended up playing a massive story into this man here, Scott Dixon. I mean, what an absolutely legendary race, I think. Some people have suggested, is it Scott Dixon's best ever win? Well, I mean, motorsport.com has got something to say about it. The 6-time champion, IndyCar champion, produced what was his 57th career win with another amazing drive at Long Beach. That lap, I mean, the laps towards the end was I think, pretty nail-biting. Dixon's last 5 wins have come from 8th, 11th, 16th, 15th and 14th on the grid. So you could argue that this may well have been his easiest. But with a capital B, his last regular win was in Toronto 22, but his Long Beach success and only his second win here also means he's registered a win for the 20 consecutive IndyCar season, which is an absolutely amazing achievement. Now, having scored 4 wins out of the last 6 races at the end of last season, it's clear he has got reigning champion Alex Palou raising at the very least, if one, if not two, eyebrows in the sister car. And when asked how it ranks this victory compared to others, because of this remarkable fuel strategy, yeah, there wasn't the amazing passes, there wasn't the amazing run through the field, there wasn't even that much of a defensive drive, people all over him. But what it was really measured, and what was going on in the car was absolutely amazing. And even Dixon admitted it ranks on the stressful meter pretty high. Yeah, that one was up there. I mean, he said he's obviously really happy with it, but even the commentator was saying there's no way he's gonna win. I mean, he doesn't have the fuel. He couldn't even have the push to pass. And Dixon said, I think Nashville maybe beat that a couple of years ago, where we didn't take tyres on the last stop. We tried to be crafty and do 50 or 60 laps on the tyres. That was pretty wild. He said this one was up there because the chasing pack, which were on a regular strategy, I mean, he pitted really, really early on, and we thought, oh, he's going to need another safety car. It didn't happen. And he said they were coming pretty fast. They were going to get us with 8 or 10 laps to go. And he said even the scenario of the push, do you push and maintain track position over maybe not finishing? It's kind of a hard decision to make. Now, in the closing stages of the race, Dixon came under pressure from Joseph Newgarden. Although he knew his rival could push harder, this is where Dixon's, as suggested, ice cold mind knew that Newgarden's advantage would dissolve in time around the tight street circuit. He said the pressure was coming hard and strong, but I knew they would burn the tyres off pretty quickly with what would be a 10-lap offset. I think they had to close 10 or 12 second lap. The abuse was coming thick and fast. So even Scott Dixon himself thinks it's definitely one of the better races. So this guy here, though, let's quickly get into. I didn't want to put him down as one of the losers, but naughty boy, naughty Herta, I put. So he clashed with the guy who we all thought was going to win, Mr. Newgarden, at Long Beach. Yes, Andretti Global's Colton Herta. He's, to be fair to him, shouldered the majority of blame for his late clash with Penske's Joseph Newgarden. So the reigning Indy 500 champion, really Newgarden, who's running second and third and chasing Chip Ganassi's racing Scott Dixon for the win. Newgarden's, and then Herta, who'd pretty much just caught up with him with a few laps to go, rounded to the back of him at that really tight turn 11 hairpin, and then Newgarden's car went into anti-stall, and it not only lost a spot to Herta, but reigning champion Alex Palou as well. He just stopped in the middle of the corner, Herta said over the radio. Was he, I guess he was trying to justify his mistake. Maybe, I don't know. But across his radio, Newgarden was initially livid, as he would be. He lost a position. And then another one about the contact. And the strategist and Penske team president, Tim Cindric, was reportedly quite angry about it too, speaking to race controls about race control's decision not to penalise Herta. Now, after the race, Newgarden had words with the naughty Herta in the pit lane. He said, I don't know, it seemed pretty obvious. He just misjudged it and ran into me. Once I got lifted off the ground, I went into anti-stall. I couldn't get it going. You have to wait for the clutch to disengage and then reset. So I was just kind of stalled there for a second. Yeah, naughty Herta, probably, maybe. Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. So, let's get into the full results before we leave you here. So we've got, let me see, let's make that a bit more so we can read it all. So we have got Joseph Newgarden. Joseph Newgarden now leads the championship to Scott Dixon. Colton Herta is third. Palou is fourth. The current champ. Will Power fifth. Pato Award sixth. Felix Rosenquist in seventh. Carl Kirkwood eighth. Alexander Rossi in ninth. And Scott McLaughlin in 10th. And you need to go all the way to, I think, 22nd to see. There we go. Theo Pourchaire, the rookie. But what were the race results here? Well, if we go all the way up, Scott Dixon wins. Colton Herta second. Alex Palou third. Joseph Newgarden fourth. Marcus Ericsson, not bad run from him in fifth. Will Power sixth. Carl Kirkwood seventh. Roman Grosjean in eighth. Not bad for him. He's having a fairly solid, I think, in that team run for him. Felix Rosenquist, Alexander Rossi round up the top 10. Theo Pourchaire in 11th. Marcus Armstrong in 12th. Then Lindquist, VK, Augustin Campino, Pato O'Naughty Ward, Graham Rahal, Stingray Bob, Kiffin Simpson and Nolan Siegel brings us to 20th. And the last of the runners are Tom Bloomquist, Christian Lundgaard, Pietro Fittipaldi, Jack Harvey, Scott McLaughlin, and Christian Rasmussen, who ended up in the wall, I think, bringing out. I think he was one that brought out the yellow flag. So there we go. So let's quickly just get a reminder of our winners and losers for the Long Beach Grand Prix. So, fingers crossed. Pato Ward, what were you thinking running into your teammate, our loser of the race, costing you and potentially your teammate a much better result? And you were, to be fair to you, you were very much drawn out by this guy here, Theo Pourchaire. But Theo, you were not going to be a man of the race. I think he had a really solid job. Qualified 22nd, finished 11th, didn't put a foot wrong. But this man here, Scott Dixon, a miracle of miracles, somehow he saved the fuel going on what really was not the right strategy in the end. Needed another safety car, but he held off until the end for his 57th win. And it was looking good last year. Could he be the champion? Who knows? Anyway, I digress. If you like what you see, please give us a subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing. And we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.